guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. This reading vlog I'm so excited for because I intend to make it ultra cozy. I have had a little bit of a hectic past couple of weeks, very fun, very rewarding, but I'm also really looking forward to settling back at home, doing my favorite cozy hobbies, hanging out with Matilda, and hopefully getting a lot of reading and just leaning into all of my favorite home fall-oriented activities, the best sort of thing. With that in mind, I'm so excited about my TBR for this video, so without further ado, let's go ahead and chat about it. So for this vlog, I actually have two books on my TBR. The first is Red Country by Joe Abercrombie. I'm actually about 75% of the way through this book, so I'm actually almost done with this, but I did want to just sort of feature the last little bit. I am enjoying this standalone fantasy novel by Joe Abercrombie so much. It might even be my favorite of the three so far, but each of the standalones have been so unique and just enjoyable for their own reasons. It's been great. But from there, I want to jump into one of my most anticipated fall reads for my fall TBR of this year, and that is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I've been sort of craving a YA mystery, and this is a gothic horror YA story, and I just feel like it's going to be right up my alley and so much fun. But yes, that is my TBR. Welcome to the start of this vlog. It's going to be full of lots of good cooking. I'm obsessed with the K-drama right now, so I'm going to be watching that. Puzzles, reading, good times. My favorite things all around, if you ask me. We're gonna sit down now and actually do some reading, but I think I am gonna make myself a cup of tea first, non-caffeinated. I'm gonna utilize my pumpkin tea mug. Gotta use it while it's seasonally appropriate. You know, we only got so many days left. We're going with some chamomile tea, I think, and some local honey, mesquite honey. Tea is made. Matilda is also so snuggled up, very sleepy, but I am going to sit now on the couch and read more of Red Country, as I'm almost done with that book, so cheers. Hi friends, I have done a nice bout of reading of Red Country by Joe Abercrombie. I've read 60 pages and I feel like I should try to chat a little bit of what this book is about. So this is the third standalone novel that exists between Joe Abercrombie's two trilogies. All of the standalone novels are important because there's a political aspect to them that ties into his larger narrative. But they're also very unique to themselves within each story, featuring new characters. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely cameos, but new characters, kind of a specific arc that starts and finishes within each book, and they're more contained. And something I've really enjoyed about these standalone novels is that there is definitely a plot, but I feel like these really serve as a way for Joe Abercrombie to explore some really interesting one-off character dynamics and maybe smaller scale plots in his world and in his style. And I personally feel like Joe Abercrombie's strength are his characters and a lot of the sort of moral, complex, nuanced situations that we find ourselves exploring. And I would also say each standalone is very unique in the sort of topics, structure, storytelling style that he chooses to go about, which I also really appreciated. Each one of these standalone novels were so cool to read because they were so unique in their approach, style, everything like that. Red Country is Joe Abercrombie's wild, wild west, western journey style story. And we're following our main character, Shy, who sets out at the beginning of this book to try to get her stolen siblings back. Her farm is attacked, it's burned down. Shy herself has sort of a shadowy past that she's trying to move away from. She's also traveling with her stepfather, who also has a shadowy past. There are a lot of character cameos throughout the course of this, but it's very much a journey book. And the themes of this book are particularly interesting. I would say this book is very much about second chances, the possibility of restarting your life, but still inevitably falling back into old aspects of yourself that you're ashamed of, and trying to work to be a better person and get that second chance, but your past is always going to sort of catch up with you, and what will you do when that happens? There's also a larger narrative element of collective amorality and kind of the bystander effect. We're following a specific set of characters and their own life and life choices, but we are also following different bands of people who are doing terrible things, and characters that sort of find themselves falling into doing terrible things again, but are too much of a coward to step away from this group to kind of form their own moral code, and find themselves in situations again and again that because other people are doing terrible things, it sort of justifies them doing terrible things, and even though they're like morally sick about it. And that is like obviously sort of humanity's biggest moral failings, is that sort of bystander situation. And I think that is like very center stage in this book. And it's very emotional. Like something about Joe Abercrombie's books and characters I appreciate. It's like nothing is straightforward, and you will hate and feel for and empathize and sympathize with characters in so many different shades of feeling. Like, I'm so frustrated and disgusted by some of these characters, and I just want them to make better decisions. At other times, I'm rooting for them, I care for them, and I think that is what makes this book so interesting, because the characters are just so unbelievably nuanced, and the sort of family dynamic that is specifically centered stage in this, and just like the fight for a second, third, fourth chance. Like, it's never too late to change the cycle of your life, no matter how much you self-sabotage yourself. And the thing is, like, I don't really know how this book is going to end at all. And that is also a skill of Joe Abercrombie, because the moral failings of his characters and the bad choices he makes his characters make is like consistent. And sometimes you have like a kind of happy ending, or an end, like a happy-ish ending to one plot line, but like more times than not, you also have non-happy endings. So like, you are very stressed reading his books, particularly if you like characters, because you really don't know how things are going to work out for them, but you're rooting for the best, but also know that there's definitely a scenario in his world where the worst versions of themselves and worse things could inevitably happen to them too, which I think just makes this book so engaging. Outside of the great writing style and the plotting and the characters, there's an element of unpredictability always. And I don't have much of this book left now. I am on page like 400 now of like 450. So I have about 50 pages left. I've read 60 pages and it's so good. I'm happy that I was able to feature like a part of this within this vlog, just because I'm really having a Joe Abercrombie year. His last two standalones in particular, I think, are some of my favorite reads. This and also The Heroes. The Heroes was just so uniquely written. I just was really taken by these books, and I'm just really loving them a lot. So I'm gonna finish this, I think, tonight, but I'm gonna take a break from reading now and prep dinner a little bit, get changed in my comfies, maybe do a little bit of a puzzle. I'm so into this K-drama, as I've mentioned. I'm definitely gonna sit down and watch a lot of that tonight. Feeling a little sleepy, so I also think I'm gonna try to get like a good early night sleep. I think I need that, but I'm happy I was able to get some pre-dinner reading in. I put on Halloween pajamas. It's gonna be a great evening. Dinner is in the oven, and we are gonna watch my obsession, which is Love Next Door, which is a K-drama on Netflix. Childhood friends to lovers. Oh my God, I giggle watching this show. It is so good. And dinner is ready. I roasted some honey carrots, some green beans. We picked up a rotisserie chicken from Central Market, and I made mashed potatoes. Truly scrumptious. I'm gonna be very honest with everyone. I have been watching this K-drama for 3.5 hours. I have been sobbing my eyes out. Sometimes from happiness, sometimes from, I don't know, just the pure amount of feeling I'm feeling. It's so good. I intended to finish my book tonight, and I even came in the bedroom to try to be like, we should stop. But I've turned on my TV in my bedroom.
You gotta check up on you.
Here you see it. And I am going to watch more of my K-drama. What time I'm going to bed tonight is an absolute mystery and not my problem. Whatever happens is tomorrow Reagan's problem, not tonight Reagan's problem, you know? Good morning, everyone. I stayed up until 1 a.m. watching my K-drama. It's so good. I would have stayed up later, but Clay made me go to sleep. He says he's pulling the sleep card and that I'm gonna really regret staying up past 1 a.m. And he was right, even though in the moment I probably would have stayed up till 4 a.m. It was one of those nights. Hello everyone. Great news. I have finished my first book of the vlog. I just read Red Country, and I want to say, let me just triple check how long this book is. 452 pages. I was on page 300 and something yesterday, so I think I've read like 120 pages so far, and I really liked this book. Another fantastic standalone story within the Joe Abercrombie universe that does a lot to the plot and the context of everything that happens, but again, very contained, very focused on like what it's trying to accomplish within this one book. Stylization so unique compared to his other stories, his other standalones, which just makes the whole thing so refreshing. And I really in particular enjoyed kind of the thematic approach, the characters, and just some of the things we were able to experience in this. This felt very well earned in the context of the entire series, which made it like ultra satisfying, if you know what I mean. If you've read this book, you know what I mean. Really liked this. I cannot wait to try, and I'm officially in a position where I'm able to read the next Joe Abercrombie trilogy, which I definitely feel like I'm gonna start before the end of the year. I loved this, and I'm so happy I was able to finish it. From there, obviously, we're gonna start Belladonna today. My hope is to actually be able to read this pretty quickly. It's YA, and I feel like I read YA like really fast, and I've heard really good things about this trilogy. I feel like all of them are super well received, really popular, and I'm also, as I mentioned before, like very much in the mood for something like this, especially after the intensity of this book. I loved it, but it's not an easy read, to put it simply, but it was also excellent. But I'm so happy I finished my first book of this vlog. We're gonna pivot to book 2 soon, but right now I'm actually gonna go get dressed and make myself some breakfast. It's kind of like too late for breakfast, but it's too early for lunch, so I feel like I'm gonna have this like late breakfast and probably have a late lunch, which is totally fine. But I'm gonna go do that now. I need to figure out what I'm wearing today. I gotta get out of my PJs, even though I love my little Halloween PJs so much. Hi everyone. I wanted to take some time outside my vlog to kind of address something a bit more serious and also point to some resources down in my description. Obviously, Hurricane Helene just happened, creating devastating destruction all across Georgia, North Carolina, and Hurricane Milton is also on its way, about to impact Florida at the point I'm about to film this. This obviously has created an immense amount of damage, and I just wanted to link below some resources to be able to donate if you're able. 2 hurricanes, unfortunately, are just part of a larger trend of climate change, increasing in massive natural disasters, both in hurricanes, flooding, tornadoes, wildfires, extreme cold, extreme heat that is happening all across the country. Also, just want to take a moment to say the time for climate action is definitely now, in terms of big solutions are needed, both from our government and corporations. Anyway, I'm gonna be yelling at them, and I just wanted to link some resources down below. And while we have made some strides recently in terms of government agencies passing some climate-related legislation, we need more. Top of mind, and again, resources will be linked down below. Alrighty, for breakfast, we're doing some soft-boiled eggs on toast. I think I'm gonna spread a little bit of goat cheese on my toast, and then I'm also gonna do like yogurt bowls. We've got some Greek yogurt, and I have honey and jam. So I think oh, and granola. I have granola too. Ooh, this is gonna be so good. Someone remind me to get some chia seeds, because I keep forgetting to buy. Oh, actually I have chia seeds. Whole chia seeds. Spectacular. I'm gonna wash some fruit. I have blackberry jam, which is, that was weird, which is Clay's favorite. Clay's almost already decimated this whole bowl of blackberries. He eats about 1,000 blackberries a day. Berries. Just gonna cut up the strawberries. Picked up this blackberry jam in Vermont. Look how cute. The cloth cover. So cute. So we'll have this. Now we just assemble, I think. Yogurt. A little bit of jam. Chia seeds. I'll do the fruit first. Chia seeds. Whoa, that was a lot. Whoops. Maple syrup, pecan and maple syrup granola. little bit of crunch. And then I'm gonna top it with some honey. Drizzle. Drizzle. Aren't these just stunning? Less pretty, but I also made some goat cheese toast with a soft boiled egg on top, which I think I might cut this egg again. And yogurt. Go eat this up. For dinner, we're leaning into fall vibes. We are making soup. I have not started my second book of this vlog because transparently I did start doing a Lego set and watching more of my K-drama. Admittedly, K-dramas with subtitles and Legos, kind of a difficult thing. I'm going slow, but we're having a blast. But first we gotta get the soups on. And I am gonna read later, I promise you. I promise. Soup is done. Just making some toast, and then we're gonna finish my K-drama, which I'm almost done with, and then I'm gonna go read. Hello everyone. I've done a bad job vlogging this evening because I've just been watching my K-drama and then I went for a long walk because I needed to touch some grass. It happens to the best of us, but now I'm settling in and I'm finally gonna start Belladonna, which I'm so excited for. I am hoping to get a good chunk of this read tonight and just in general read it quickly. It's about 400 pages, so I'm confident in myself. So wish me luck. Let's go. Good morning, everyone. I am laundered back in my Halloween PJs and I wanted to do a reading update of Belladonna because I read about, my glasses are really crooked. I read about 70 pages last night and I've read a bit more this morning. So far, so good. This is definitely delivering like kind of exactly what I was hoping for. I'm not anticipating this book to be the most mind-boggling story experience that I've ever read. I wanted something that was engaging, fun, maybe had a little bit of romance, coming of age, all of these things. And I feel like this book is going to deliver all of that plus a gothic horror sort of vibe as well. In this book, we're following our main character, Signa, and she is an orphan. And ever since she was a small child, she's been passed from kind of like relative to relative, guardian to guardian to sort of take care of her. Everyone wants to take care of her because she's actually the heiress to a great fortune, which she doesn't get until like her 20th birthday. They want that money. But the thing is with Signa, she's kind of treated like she's cursed because bad things have always happened to her guardians all throughout her life. And she herself kind of has a specific set of powers where she's kind of immune to death. And she's crossed paths with death, like the figure, the literal person figure, over the course of her entire life, who she also despises. At the beginning of this book, she is going to what is hopefully her last guardian ahead of her like coming of age birthday and she can get her fortune, and it's at this like faraway estate called the Hawthorne Estate. There she realizes this family is like kind of in peril The wife has just recently passed away. The husband is throwing these wild parties as a way to cope. The son is like obsessed with her reputation. The daughter is seemingly sick with the same thing that impacted the wife tragically. And now Signa is there and she's trying to figure out this whole thing, especially because she's being haunted by the recently deceased wife. And her ghost lets her know that she thinks she was actually murdered. And so she's trying to figure out what's happening. She doesn't want anything to happen to the Hawthorns. She wants to sort of put this curse and death behind her, thwart death, if you will. And so far, it's just like really engaging. Signa as a main character is so endearing and sweet. She's easy to root for. She's like assured and confident, but she's also sheltered. She hasn't had a lot of exposure to society, so she's really excited to be like around people, and she's like read this etiquette book, but she hasn't had the opportunity to put it like into practice. So I think that is like very endearing to read. She immediately has this very fun back and forth with this stable hand that lives on a property who's kind of helping her do this investigation. Death as a main character is also super cool, very mysterious, and I definitely have my theories, but like crumbling weird house, ghosts, characters running around this property. It's just full of things I was kind of hoping it was going to be full of, and the writing style has definitely pulled me in. It's engaging and fun, and it's definitely sort of scratching that itch I was hoping it was going to do, if all of that is clear. So I'm actually going to sit down now and do a bit more reading. I think I'm going to heat up some more coffee. It reads very quickly too. Like I read this chunk very fast, and I think as I get more into like the meat of the mystery, it's going to be even harder to put down, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Then I'm going to blow dry my hair, get dressed, and get working on the various things I do in fact need to accomplish today. But right now, I'm not thinking about those things. I'm just gonna read this book, have some coffee, and take it from there. All right, I have read to page 170. There's a little spunky investigation going on in this story now. We've got carriages, we've got various locations, we've got spying, we've got glamorous parties, we've got a headstrong main character as she struggles to try to do the right thing and help this lost family who's lost in grief. It's fun. I'm having a great time. It's like the best type of YA, It's both serious and non-serious, and for that, I love it. Wanted to show y'all my Lego set. I think my roof is actually crooked. Let me fix this. Okay, there we go. So I have a Nightmare Before Christmas Lego set. It has 3 buildings, and I built the first building last night. You build structures, but there's like all these like little secret hidden things, and it just makes it like even more fun. There's also a back. My tree fell. Ignore that. There's also a back to it. Ugh. Anyway, all this is to say is I'm back in my Lego era, and I could not be more excited about it. Here are my next 2 buildings that I need to make. This one I think is going to be especially fun. Though this obviously, is adorable for a lot of obvious reasons. But yeah, this is what I did instead of reading earlier this vlog. Lunch is a very pretty salad. We got a balsamic dressing. We got apples, strawberries, a little bit of goat cheese, pumpkin seeds, a little bit of shallot. Still got half an apple. We got a lunch and a snack. Yeah. Today was very much an admin day, which is why I just stayed in my pajamas, I guess. But I'm gonna make myself some afternoon tea, which is definitely gonna be a little bit caffeinated. I feel like I need the boost. I'm going to my friend's birthday party tonight, which should be so much fun. But I'm actually gonna sit down now and read some more Belladonna, which honestly is like, I'm really liking this book. It's so fun, and it also just feels like a book that I perfectly matched with the mood that I was in. Like, I feel like I'm reading the book in the headspace that's perfectly for the book. Like, my stars feel very aligned right now with this series, and it's just like, I'm just having so much fun. I feel like I'm watching like a really endearing like CW show, and I'm like, yeah! Death looks handsome. You should date him. It doesn't matter if he's immortal. I don't care how old he is. Solve that murder mystery, girl. Like, I'm just living for all the tropes. I'm having a good time, and I couldn't be asking for anything different. And I think I'm gonna have some Pocky as a snack, strawberry, and have some tea and do some reading. So that's the plan. That's the plan. friends. I am back from my friend's little birthday gathering. A quick clip of her cake because it was so stinking cute and it tasted amazing. I'm happy to report I read so much before I left. I think I have about 100-ish pages left of this book. It reads so quickly and I'm having a blast while reading this. I want to say, guess flag, that like there isn't anything like particularly special about this book, but I do feel like the combination of tropes is really fun and it's effective what the author is doing, and I am just like having a good time with it. Like there's a mystery and I have my guesses and speculation about who's responsible for killing, you know, the wife and is poisoning the daughter, which is like a main plot point that's sort of introduced right at the beginning. The romance is ridiculous, but like I'm so into it and I'm having a good time. Like I'm just out here suspending my disbelief and it's paying off in dividends and it's just great. I love the society aspect. I love our main character who is this sleuth and she's struggling with, does she want to just be like a normal girl, you know, entering into the fray, trying to find a husband, but she also has the opportunity to sort of live her own life as she will eventually be the heiress of her own fortune, and she has these mysterious powers centered around death. Sort of back and forth and romantic elements is fun, and you know, there's obviously a layer of propriety, gothic horror, like there's so many dashes of things happening within this, and like it's maybe done in a more straightforward way, but also though it's exactly what I wanted. Like I can't really fault it for it because in a way it's doing exactly what I hoped, and it's just so silly and fun, and I just want to know what's gonna happen. I want to know who did what. You know, there's lots of different threads in the mystery right now, and while I feel like maybe I've realized some of what's happening, I could be one, wrong, or two, like not captured the whole picture of what's going on either. But all that to say is this is proving to be a very effective fall read. It has lots of fall vibes, a lot of fun YA romance mystery vibes too. It's just like a low stakes read that's super entertaining, but also like really capturing my attention and is a lot of fun. Like I've read most of this book today, over 200 pages to be exact, and I'm gonna sit down and read more now. Once I pick this book up, I read a chapter, read another chapter, like I just zoom through it, which is exactly what I wanted. Like I love when I'm able to read a book in like a 24-hour span. It makes me feel very, very, very productive. But yeah, that's my reading update. Lots of success here. Gonna read more. Definitely on track to finish it tomorrow to wrap up this vlog. Over 500 pages will be read in like a few days. We're back on track. We are back. At least I feel that way. I feel I'm back on track. Matilda is fully camouflaged in her bed right now. Millie! Oh, sorry, you can go back to sleep. But it's time to sit down and do more reading of Belladonna, which I love the name of this book. It references a poison, but I also think it's just so pretty, and the spine of this so pretty, and I love the face covers. Really brings me back to like the early 2010 YA covers, but like in a good way. It feels like it's paying an homage, you know? Good morning, everyone. It is time for some coffee, and I'm gonna sit down and read some more Belladonna. I am for sure on track to finish it this morning, which feels amazing. I'll have finished 2 books, which is just exactly what I need. Also, I feel like Belladonna is really bringing me back, mainly because of like the love interest of this book is like so silly in a way that's like definitely like don't think about it too much. It's like, sure, yeah, like if I was someone's parent, I'd be like, are we sure about this? But from a story point of view, it's just so ridiculous and fun. And I'm really curious to see how this mystery is going to wrap up. I do feel like as I mentioned, I think I've guessed some stuff. I've guessed, I think, a lot of things, but at the same time, I'm just like, whatever. I can't wait for our main character to find out. You know what I mean? The main romance is reminding me of like the era of like the Twilight era. They're very different romances, but I think if you've read this book, you kind of know what I mean. But it's time to read now. Hi guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the end of the vlog. I've officially finished both of the books I was featuring over the course of this video and I am thrilled about it. First and foremost, final thoughts on Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This was fun. Read this book if you like YA murder mysteries with the gothic twist. Don't read this book if you're generally bored by standard YA tropes. I feel like this was a very well done traditional YA novel. I felt like the cheesy parts landed for me and I found it endearing and fun. Sure, I guessed ultimately I did end up guessing a lot of the plot lines, but it didn't even bother me. I was just having such a great time. Like CW show 100% with this. It was entertaining and it delivered. And don't get me wrong, there were some interesting things about family and friendship and found family and choosing loved ones for yourself and like your own path in life. Was it subtle? No. Was it great? Yes. I've already purchased the sequel of this book and I feel like I'm going to read it soon. They're just like the perfect palate cleanser book for me. And it was like comfortable to read because I sort of knew how things were going to progress. Kind of like a cozy read without it being like technically a cozy read. Hopefully you sort of get what I mean. But if you don't really like YA, you shouldn't read this. But if you do tend to like YA, this is definitely worth the pickup. I can see why this book is super popular online. And in fact, I would say like TikTok, Book Talk, BookTube was one of the main reasons why I actually picked this book up and decided to give more YA a chance, more Facebooks a chance. Hey. Obviously, the first book I completed for this vlog was one I had already started. I read 120 pages of Red Country by Joe Abercrombie. Obsessed with this. Much darker read. Very unpredictable from a plot point of view. So I think the palate cleanser of Belladonna after reading this was like very needed. I'm sad that I've completed the Joe Abercrombie standalones because they have just been all such a unique reading experience that are so well constructed and interesting. And I almost feel like Joe Abercrombie's writing shines the most in a standalone setting because I really feel like he can dive deep on the characters and have a plot, but it not having to be like a multi-arc trilogy plot situation. And kind of instead like set the stage with like a standard setup, but just like make it so interesting and unique because of the character dynamics, which is truly his strength. His characters are by far some of my favorite in fantasy. Not quite up there with Robin Hobb, but definitely like up there in terms of like all-time faves. They're just so fascinating. This third book, I feel like it's a tie between Red Country and The Heroes. The Heroes was just so interestingly written from a structure point of view, but the characters and the cameos in Red Country were just excellent and so well deserved. So I would say those two are both like 5-star reads for me, some of my favorite books of the year, definitely. And I'm so pumped to read more Joe Abercrombie, and I'm like kind of sad I'm catching up on his books because he's quickly becoming like one of my favorite fantasy writers currently. I just feel like I'm always so engaged with his tales and stories, and this Wild Wild West interpretation, amazing. I've obviously already gone in depth on kind of some of the thematic approaches of this. He really makes you think, you're on the edge of your seat. I just really enjoy his books so much. Yes, I have read over 500 pages. I want to say, ooh, the mailman's walking by my window. He came earlier than you were expecting. You're not freaking out. I'm shocked. She's like unbothered. She's normally very bothered by the mailman. Oh my god, that's so funny. Anyway, what was I saying? So yes, I've read 520 pages for this vlog. I also feel like my reading is back on track for the month, and I'm looking forward to checking out the rest of my October TBR. 2 fan favorites that definitely landed for me, and I can see why they're both so popular. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon with another one soon. Goodbye!